We are wrestling. We are wrestling podcast.
They give a shout out to We Are Wrestling on YouTube.
You're watching We Are Wrestling.
I'm the host with the most.
You are by far the least intelligent.
What's going on, everybody? Danny Huckins here, man. 1/3 of We Are Wrestling.
What's going on? We are Wrestling Maniacs Worldwide. Ben here, the third of the talk show.
We Are Wrestling Podcast.
Make sure to subscribe, baby.
We are wrestling.
What is up? We are Wrestling Maniacs out there worldwide. I'm the host with the most, Mr. We Are Wrestling himself, the best one, Donnie, here with...
What is going on, everybody? Ben back again, the Lone Ranger. Wow, like I said, I've been in front of my computer for so fucking long. I've been doing my content today. Anyways, what's going on? Ben back, 1/3 of We Are Wrestling Podcast. My God, it's been a week, and SummerSlam is finally almost around the corner, and it has been a tiring experience, but no matter. It's going to be a fucking explosive weekend, and we're here to bring you the next episode of the podcast. So, Don, before we get into all the juicy details, take it away.
That's right. This week on the We Are Wrestling YouTube channel, there's been nothing but heat. We had the AEW Dynamite Blood and Guts vlog come out. We also had the SummerSlam 2023 predictions, where Danny, Ben, and myself, we dive deep into our predictions going into SummerSlam later on tonight, which we'll be doing a live watch along on the We Are Wrestling YouTube channel, 7:30 Eastern Standard Time. And yesterday, we actually did have an extra come out on the channel talking about Cody Rhodes' documentary. So there's lots of awesome content that you guys really need to catch up on. But before we dive into this week's episode, if you're not a We Are Wrestling Maniac yet already, and you're listening to the podcast, give us a 5-star review. Not just a 5-star review, but a best one review. And if you're watching this, if you're not a part of the thousands of subscribers, we recommend you to hit that subscribe button now, turn on the post notifications. Videos be coming out of nowhere like an RKO, and of course you already know the grind is real.
Yeah, buddy.
I'm excited for SummerSlam tonight, man.
Hell fucking yeah, dude. What are we on? 69 right now or 68?
68.
68? Jesus Christ. 68 episodes.
And normally we start off, the podcast with our highlight of the week. So, Ben, what is your highlight of the week?
My highlight of the week? Honestly, I gotta say, it has nothing to do with the main shows or anything, but the highlight of the week for me was honestly the Cody Rhodes documentary. Like, it was probably the most fucking thought out, thorough, just fruitful fucking documentary on any superstar, and you would not have missed a beat anywhere. Like, they literally got everything in a 2-hour window, which is incredible because Cody Rhodes, as you know, has had an illustrious career. So to be able to see it chapter by chapter, step by step, every obstacle, the way that it was shot metaphorically with him in the desert, him coming up to the cell for the Hell in a Cell, that shit was fucking sweet, man. So honestly, that was my highlight of the week. I don't fucking care. That was my highlight.
And guys, what Ben is talking about is the latest documentary WWE released over on Peacock. And we recommend you guys to go watch that entire 2-hour documentary. One of the best WWE films ever produced. And we covered the entire thing from chapter 1, the beginning of, his life, to now. And Ben and I, we really dive deep into it. Great podcast. I recommend you guys to go listen to it. It's over on Apple Podcast or Spotify or even the YouTube page you want to watch it. We covered it. But my highlight of the week, man, has got to be AEW Collision in Hartford last Saturday.
Gotcha.
I was
Yeah,
there
because you were
live
there in
and
attendance
there
and in
should be a
camera
new
view,
vlog
you son of a
coming out.
bitch.
Yeah, almost, man. Pretty close.
You were fucking basically in camera view. You were in like the main area where the camera fucking shoots at, right?
That was
was
at TD Garden.
TD Garden. Okay, whoops,
Collision,
my bad.
I was like row N, which is like behind like the commentators.
Oh, that's kind of badass still, though.
Yeah,
Because that's Taz, right?
Ricky, my buddy Will, Cam, and my fiance. We went to AEW Collision, and CM Punk, he revealed what was in the red bag, which was the AEW World Championship. He crossed an X on it.
Figured.
Kind of NWO style, man. Hollywood Hogan. And also, I got to see MJF and Adam Cole fight FCR. And MJF and Dax, they actually squashed their beef after the show.
That's awesome. But, Bud, what does that mean now? Like, is that like another like main title for AEW? Like, or is it just for the storyline purposes? Like, what does that mean now?
So a lot of speculation is going around that technically CM Punk never lost his AEW World Championship.
He did not.
So what they plan on doing is, I think after MJF's feud with Adam Cole, they want to, do the storyline with MJF and CM Punk that they were supposed to do a year prior.
Gotcha. So that's going to be like, who ends up getting like the world title itself, and then it can go to Collision if CM Punk wins?
Probably do something similar to CM Punk back in like 2011 where it was champion versus champion. Because if you remember,
John Cena.
CM Punk left with the
WWE
championship in Chicago. John Cena won the new championship in a tournament. CM Punk comes back to Cult of Personality, and they have a match at SummerSlam.
For like who the actual champion is, right?
Yes.
Okay, that makes sense.
Or they could
be
keeping that championship on Collision, and they could keep MJF on Dynamite, but I'm not sure what they're going to do.
I feel like that would be the best plan of action, is making that title like its own title, and like obviously flipping a new design, all that shit. Another like name for the title itself, just because having one world championship where there's multiple shows, you should probably at least make one more like world title of some sort. Like you have the AEW world title. This one should be some kind of heavyweight title. Like this one should be some kind of,
CM Punk did call it in the promo, and they did use it for the match graphic, because tonight's Collision, CM Punk is going to be defending the real World Heavyweight Championship against Absolute Ricky Starks, with Ricky the Dragon Steamboat as a special guest referee.
Ricky Steamboat. Oh, shit. Okay, Tony Khan pulling out the big guns to get some of these fucking legends in some AEW television. Okay, I see you, Tony.
So if you are trying to watch AEW Collision and you're like us, me, Danny, and Ben, who are going to be doing a live watch along, watching SummerSlam, we recommend you guys the DVR Collision, and go check it out after SummerSlam or watch it on Sunday like I do. I will be having live reactions to Collision for Sunday.
I'm scared because that sounds pretty important, but SummerSlam's on, so that viewership's going to plummet that day. So I feel like you should have waited for like a pay-per-view or something to do all that fun stuff. I mean, it sounds like a good time. It's just, you gonna choose Collision or SummerSlam? Like, it's hard
going into it, man.
That's what I'm saying, dude.
I think AEW is already prepared for this, so I'm sure there's gonna be replays of this episode, and a lot of people that are hardcore wrestling fans are definitely gonna DVR it, and I know I'm gonna do that, and I hope that everybody else does, because Collision right now is one of the best weekly shows. It just sucks that it's on Saturdays.
I don't know what fucking frame of mind Tony Khan was in. Was like, yeah, we're gonna throw this on fucking Saturday. Like, all that for a theme song, Tony? All that for a theme song?
Saturday.
Yeah,
but with that being said, let's dive into the topics for We Are Wrestling 68.
68, Chris. Sorry.
So we got some headliner topics for this week, and we're starting off with our opening topic, which could be considered a main event topic on a normal week, but it's SummerSlam week. It's the biggest blockbuster of the summer, so we got some blockbuster topics that we got to cover,
Let's
And
fucking get it.
according to Sports Illustration, the Young Bucks, Kenny Omega and Hangman Adam Page, signed new multi-year deals with AEW. And I actually do have Kenny Omega and the Young Bucks, their statements with Sports Illustration. So, Kenny Omega said this, and I quote, "Our original goal was to create a wrestling ultimatum and give a platform to talented people that we'd all felt deserved the spotlight," he said. "I feel like we did our best in that time, and hopefully some people you never heard of pre-AEW are folks you enjoy watching today."
Hell yeah.
If you knew them from a previous work elsewhere, have maybe found a new appreciation for them. That feeling combined with the feeling of knowing they can prove to themselves and their families doing what they love, and was always the biggest reward of being the EVP/founder. Pro wrestling has a presence almost everywhere on the planet, he continued. In my pursuit to become as complete of a performer as possible, my goal was to always experience the styles of the world at their highest levels. I believe that with AEW's current working relationship and possibly future, I can challenge all forms of pro wrestling and diversity my style so that I'm equipped for any scenario I may encounter in the ring. I'm here to help whoever I can. I'm still around. Up to the point I've made the choice to sacrifice everything in the name of pro wrestling. I could say that family or my kids influenced the decision to stay in AEW. I'm not married and without kids, but I can say that I'm incredibly proud of my match catalog and the wonderful people I met and continue to meet. AEW not only allowed me to continue to do what I do at a high level, but allows the freedom to pursue other passions I have in life, which after nearly 25 years in the ring have become more and more important to me."
Hell yeah.
That was Kenny Omega.
Yeah. Okay. So, on behalf of Kenny Omega and the Bucks, I mean, we knew. I just AEW could not really afford to lose all of their executives. One, they already lost a very big one, and that very big one is kind of thriving right now. But I think it was best for them to stay in AEW just because of not only their style, but their creative control. I think that it was just smart all in all, to keep them on AEW. I as much as I would love to see Kenny Omega face a lot of WWE talent, I think realistically his home is AEW, and I don't see him going anywhere for a while. Same with the Bucks. One thing according to Dave Meltzer and the Wrestling Observer newsletter, WWE, they did have the most interest in Kenny Omega out of everybody. Oh no, of course, it's fucking Kenny Omega.
But the Elite did come out and they did say that they were going to stick together.
No, of course. But yeah, no, I'm not surprised that, Kenny Omega, out of all of them, was like, the eye on the prize. It's Kenny fucking Omega. He's one of the best to do it. That's a dude that could really fucking throw hands with Roman Reigns. I didn't see them leaving. Any of them. I did not see them. They're literally like, not only are they super tight, but they're all executives of AEW and they're running the show. So if they left right now, all of them, when their contract expires, it would be a shit show. So I don't see them leaving for at least another 10 years, all of them. I think that they have another 10 years in the company before I could realistically see them leaving. Just because it's way too soon. The company's still very, very new. So I think that their guidance there is still kind of needed. So
yeah, I think, this is a great move for AEW to bring back the Elite. I am one that is very surprised that they did, re-sign with AEW because it felt like Tony Khan was going to pick CM Punk or the Elite because of, that whole all-out media scrum. I felt like it was going to be one or the other, and Tony Khan was going to have to pick a side. But it seems like he fixed that problem by having two shows now. Having Collision with CM Punk, having the, Dynamite with the Elite. So you have two completely different style shows, which we haven't really seen this in pro wrestling. in a while. And I think that definitely does make interesting television because, like I said before, Dynamite, I feel like they focus more on the stuff that's in the ring. They're more focused on the holy shit chants, the high spots, what wrestling is becoming today. But Collision with CM Punk and their creative team over there, they're focusing on more of the storytelling, the television side of the show, and going back to some of the old school stuff, which I like how both shows have their own identity like that. And honestly, I'm glad that Tony Khan was able to, get the Elite locked in and also, having CM Punk locked in. I'm glad that things are starting to go right for AEW because as you know, a pro wrestling podcaster, as a pro wrestling maniac, as a pro wrestling fan, I want all wrestling companies to succeed at the end of the day.
You forgot Mark.
Wait, Mark?
You forgot you were saying that you're a maniac, a fan, but you also forgot to mention that you're a wrestling
I forgot
Mark.
that I'm a We Are Wrestling maniac, Mark.
Absolutely, son.
You got me there. I was thinking for a little bit.
Yeah, man. Like I said, I can understand, like being kind of like on the fence as to whether or not they were going to resign for that reason, but I think Tony's like starting to slowly learn that drama is what diminishes a company, and I think he's trying to kind of put a on that. So I think he's trying to be fair on both sides. So I think that also helps. Maybe some pay increases as well and a little bit more creative control.
Well, in the Sports Illustration article, here's what Matt Jackson had to say, one half of the Young Bucks. We're literally the E in AEW, he said. The Elite are the main characters of this company. No matter how different AEW is now from its original inception, we are the DNA, and if you lose the foundation of your home, it eventually collapses. It'd be a lie if I said it didn't weigh on us when making the decision. In my older years of my career, being closer to the end than I am the beginning, I'm not really one who worries too much about my legacy anymore. I've kind of noticed like a summer tan. Most memories fade, or they're remembered differently or told with eras anyway. Oftentimes, the memories is almost instantly forgotten because you hit the refresh button. As far as my own personal stories, I'll have enough to retell my grandchildren for a long time. As much as those stories can be about how I created a massively successful wrestling company where all your favorites can be seen on live television every week. And Matt,
I agree.
And also Nick Jackson, here's what he said as well.
Before you do, I just want to comment on one thing. I agree with everything Matt said. I can totally get behind that, but he really got me with one part that I really wasn't a fan of. The Elite are the main characters of the show. That is some fucking arrogant, fucking hot-headed blowing shit. I'm sorry, but at that point, you lost me. Like, it's one thing to promote your company that you're very proud of. It's one thing to be proud. But to be arrogant and say that they're the main characters, you can suck a dick. Because I can name at least 10 people that are on your roster that are way more compelling than your fucking balding ass. So I 100%, dude, he can go suck a dick. But let's see what Nick has to say.
So here's what Nick had to say. And it seems like out of the Young Bucks, I just want to put this out there. Seems like Matt Jackson is always the one that like creates like stirring the pot, and like Nick Jackson's
he's self-inflated.
Like back one.
Yeah, he's a follower.
But here's what Nick Jackson.
Let's go.
Here's what Nick Jackson said. If we're going to be honest, the schedule was a huge part of it, he said. I have a wife and 3 young children, and seeing them as much as possible was a big factor. I'm not going to lie. The money was a huge factor too. At this point of my life and career, I just couldn't see myself being on the road half of the year, even more than that. I have so much respect for the guys and girls that are able to do that year after year. We for sure could have made memories in WWE, but what's more important to me is making memories with my family. With the position we're in, I'll be able to do that and still make more memories in AEW.
That is respectable. That 100% is respectable. Matt Jackson can suck a dick. 100%. That dude can go suck a dick. All right. Nick Jackson, that was out of out of both of them, the most respectable thing that you could say. Like, even like mentioning WWE, like he doesn't have to. Like, that obviously is like the pillar of sports entertainment and wrestling in general. That's what put fucking your pro wrestling shows on the map. So suck a dick. Two, that was just really respectable. Family time is so fucking important. Travel schedule is so fucking important. Money, if you're already fucking making pretty good money and WWE is like offering you damn near close, but the creative sucks dick, no, stay where you're at, man. If you know you're going to thrive and you know that you're already running the show the way that you want, and you're working with all this massive talent that you still haven't gotten all the way through that you still want to, fuck yeah. 100%. I'm behind that. I'm behind his entire statement. But Matt Jackson can suck a dick.
So I think we have to start a new thing here on the We Are Wrestling podcast, Ben. We
What
always
up?
talk about Jay is better than Jimmy.
Nick is better than Matt. Nick is better than Matt.
That's where I was going.
Nick is better than Matt, 100%, and Jay is better than Jimmy, 100%. See, I would rather see Nick Jackson and fucking Jay Uso fucking go at it, dude. Fuck that. Ain't nobody give a fuck about Jimmy or Matt. Ain't nobody give a fuck about Jimmy or Matt, just like nobody gives a fuck about Matt Hardy compared to Jeff.
So overall, what's your thoughts on AEW signing the Elite?
It was a bold move, and it was also smart. You know, like if you really want your show to succeed, since it's still very new, realistically, yeah, you're gonna keep the foundation, 100%. Like I said, without the arrogant comments, I agree with all statements. You know, it was a no-brainer. I think it was the right call for their careers. And like, you know, I think it was Matt that said, you know, they're more towards the end than they are the fucking beginning, you know? You got to keep that in mind. And with that end, you want to go out with a bang and not some old-ass motherfucker that's on his deathbed telling you that your shit is not good shit and that his fucking diaper shit is better than your shit you're putting out. You really don't want that. So, yeah, no, it's good.
I feel like as well, when it's all said and done, I think that this is a great move for the Elite, great move for AEW.
Yep.
And as arrogant as that comment was, word to E and AEW, part of it is true, but
it's true because of the title, but suck a dick on the whole fucking
because
the main
they are the
character
ones
shit.
that came up with, you know, the Elite thing. They started doing that all the way back to New Japan.
That's
Pro
good, but
Wrestling.
why are you saying you're the main characters when literally every single one of your viewers is tuning in for CM Punk?
Well,
Fuck,
that's
I'm
on
sorry.
Collision.
I'm sorry.
That's on Collision.
I'm sorry.
Dynamite and Collision right now are averaging about the same.
Yeah, but imagine that. Collision's just been around for like, what, a month? Maybe a little bit longer? Dynamite's been around for 5 fucking years. Suck a dick. Suck a dick. I'm sorry.
Say this, though. I will say this. Out of all the members of the Elite, if I'm being realistic here with WWE, I don't see the Young Bucks succeeding in WWE
Hell
only
fucking no.
because
Kenny
they don't
would.
really acknowledge tag team wrestling as much as they should. Kenny Omega, I could definitely see them doing stuff with, but not as big as he was in AEW.
No,
but the
I'm sorry.
person I will say I think they would have definitely used a lot better than he's being used now is Hangman Adam Page.
100%, but I am saying this right now. If Kenny Omega were to join WWE, I don't give a fuck what anybody says, he would have an AJ Styles route where he would be WWE champion almost immediately.
Yes. Yeah,
almost immediately.
but that's what I'm saying. He would have the championship immediately. He would have a big push. But then through time, we're noticing with AJ Styles, he's not getting those opportunities like he did when he first debuted.
Has anybody asked if he wants those opportunities? What if he's trying to spend more time with his kids, but still collect the check for a little bit until he's ready to fucking full-time go main event again?
Yeah,
What
a
if
lot
he
of people
didn't want
don't realize his age too. You're absolutely
That's what I'm saying.
correct on that.
Exactly. Like, who says he wants to fucking do it? He already had his title reign. He could have another one if he wanted, but what if he's taking more time for his family and his Twitch? Like, he can fucking do that now. It's not against WWE protocol to not have one anymore. He can do a lot more shit with his time, and he's already proved himself. He's massively established, and I feel like Kenny Omega would be the same way.
AJ Styles, man, he did re-sign with WWE recently,
and I don't see him being lost in the shuffle.
So
I
if he was
still
upset
see
with creative, he probably wouldn't have signed the extension.
exactly, and that's what I'm saying. I mean,
I feel like that's not being talked about enough.
And he has plenty of time still left under his belt, and I feel like Kenny Omega would be treated the same way if he jumped. He's one of those major players you want to push in your company because, again, he's like Cody Rhodes, a world traveler, but at the same time, he's one of the best in the fucking world to ever do it. So it's like having him would be like getting Chris Jericho back.
Very true. I just think that Hangman Adam Page would strive in WWE,
Oh, fuck yeah.
especially with that buckshot lariat.
I said
because
the same
finishers
fucking
in
thing.
WWE is a huge thing, and I feel like that would get over by itself.
Bro, I said the same fucking thing early in We Are Wrestling that I was a firm believer that fucking Hangman would thrive in WWE, which is why I'm kind of pissed he re-signed with AEW, because I feel like he would have thrived in WWE.
I will say this, after this contract is up, Hangman is going to WWE.
He needs to go. And if he doesn't, fuck him. Because he would fucking thrive in WWE.
Yeah, but we're going to have to wait and see. I am glad that AEW was able to keep, their foundation, keep the elite around, because we did see what happened with Cody Rhodes. He went to WWE and became even bigger. So if the Young Bucks, Hangman, and Kenny, they ended up, going over to WWE, it definitely would have made things a little bit more interesting, and I just think that AEW cannot afford to lose those 4 guys. They can't.
100%. They can't right now. But again, if anybody was expendable to go to WWE immediately, it was Hangman.
Absolutely. But speaking of re-signings, according to Fightful, the Dark Order recently signed a new 3-year deal to remain with AEW, and Superbad Kip Sabian also re-signed with the promotion. How do you feel about these signings?
Honestly, this is one of those things that I'm going to be very short and sweet, because one, I know the Dark Order was Brody Lee's thing, and I feel like going under the name of Dark Order right now with his kids still being super young and not being able to sign with the company yet, it's just kind of dragging something out that nobody's going to be excited for when it does happen. I will say that, cool, you get a lot of your superstars to stay. Kip Sabian, heard a lot of good things about him. I think that him re-signing with the company, if that's where he's happy and if he feels like he's getting properly utilized, all the kudos to him. Fan of anybody that has a job that loves what they do.
Yeah, I think that, bringing these guys back as an AEW viewer, I'm going to say this. I'm very surprised, but I'm also glad to see Tony Khan being loyal to his day one guys, because a lot of the times when you sign somebody, you let them run their contract, or you can be like WWE and release them in like a whole batch of people after Mania. But AEW, they are very loyal to their people. It seems like they have great relationships all around, because a lot of these day one AEW guys have re-signed with the company. And, they continue to, either be unutilized or utilized, but they seem happy where they're at. So, seeing a guy like John Silver, somebody I watched, in the independents, did a lot of stuff for Blitzkrieg and in the Northeast area, seeing him, get another 3-year deal with AEW, going from, being a jobber on WWE, getting squashed and, doing other stuff like that, to, getting an opportunity like this and get a contract, get the bag. Congratulations. Kip Sabian, I am very surprised by this, because I feel like him and Penelope, they could do really good in WWE. But, hey, they have plans, I guess, for them, and maybe they just like the pitch Tony Khan gave them. So congratulations to all the individuals that got their contracts.
Fuck yeah.
But now, getting into WWE before we go on our break, there was some news that came out because, of course, with Q2 of the year, we got a lot of insight on WWE, and WrestleMania 39 took place in Los Angeles this year, and they generated over $215 million for the Los Angeles region, which this does mark a new company record breaking, which last year in the Dallas area, they did have $206 million in economic impact. What's your thoughts on this news? WWE, man, they're breaking a lot of records this past year. 2023 is a great year for WWE.
All I can say is it comes down to who's running the show. It comes down to the product, and it comes down to the numbers. And ever since there was a transition in terms of creative control, it has thrived. A lot of that has to do with match card. A lot of that has to do with story. Everybody wants more. They're really good at what they do. Very successful company, and I'm not surprised to hear this. The WWE is going to continue going on in the legacy of breaking records, and really stoked for their future, because shit's about to get a lot more interesting.
Couldn't have said it any better myself.
Yeah, man.
You know what I got to say, man? I got to say, this is great for pro wrestling, period.
Oh, absolutely.
Especially WWE, because I feel like they started picking up that momentum again because of the Bloodline storyline, and it felt like everything else fell into place.
And Judgment Day is thriving right now, too.
You go back into time, and, you just go back in that time machine. Let's go back to the Attitude Era. What was the biggest reason people were viewing the show? What was the biggest rivalry in the Attitude Era?
Stone Cold and The Rock?
Stone Cold and Vince McMahon.
Oh, that was fucking phenomenal, dude. Everything about it was serious, it was funny, it was sad, it was funny again, it was serious, and it was, give me a hell yeah! It was great.
But because of that, everything else fell into place. You had your Rocks, you had your Triple H's, you had your
Undertakers.
You had great mid-card guys. Everything fell into place. And that's why it was a great television show. And I feel like the reason the Bloodline, they are right now the main storyline in WWE. And now everything else is falling into place. Seth Rollins is striving. Cody is striving.
Uh-huh.
Also, even, Gunter as Intercontinental Champion.
Baby.
Doing great.
Yes, baby.
So overall, man, everybody is striving in WWE right now, especially Dirty Dom.
Shit's falling into place, bro. It really is, and they are thriving right now. So honestly, they're deserving hands. They worked for it.
Absolutely. But up next on the We Are Wrestling podcast, we're going to be diving into some WWE stars that are not happy right now, and some things that happened this week on WWE and AEW TV. We'll be right back with more We Are Wrestling 68.
Yo, monkeys. We are Wrestling Podcast, and you're not. Bang!
The biggest blockbuster of the summer, SummerSlam, is right around the corner. And We Are Wrestling will be live Saturday, August 5th, 2023 on the We Are Wrestling YouTube channel for the SummerSlam Watch Along. So grab yourself a nice cold beverage, grab yourself a freeze pop, and come watch SummerSlam with the We Are Wrestling crew, Saturday, August 5th. We're back, and this past Tuesday on NXT, we saw Carmelo Hayes and his buddy, Trick Williams, move on from each other. And in this, backstage segment, Trick Williams said this: "This ain't no breakup. I just gotta be my own man." What's your thoughts on WWE deciding to separate both Trick and Mello?
I'm gonna be fucking honest with you, bro. I have no fucking idea. I have no fucking idea, bro. I know about Carmelo Hayes. I know that he's absolutely, a future star on the main roster. I absolutely believe that. I don't know who the fuck Trick is. I don't know this. What's an NXT? Like, what's an NXT? Let's start there.
Well, here's the thing, Ben. We might have to start tuning into NXT because it's been really good.
I
know. A
know,
lot of
especially
maniacs
with
have been talking
Corbin.
about great things about
Yeah, with
it.
Corbin, Ali, fucking Carmelo
Braun
Hayes
Breaker right
again,
now is
Braun
really
Breaker,
killing
Ilya Dragunov. Like, dude, it's getting pretty fucking fire. But at the same time, at this exact moment, bro, what the fuck is a Trick?
Well, he's been the guy that's been with Mello since, Mello, became a heel in, NXT 2.0.
Gotcha, okay.
So that's probably why you're not really familiar with him, because he wasn't
Yeah.
around in the beginning of Carmelo's run. He came in when NXT 2.0 started, and a lot of people kind of weren't tuning in because it was just all new.
Garbage. It was garbage.
But man, from what people have been telling me about NXT, man, I might have to start tuning in because
Tuesday's about to get lit.
Everything is just starting to fall in place. I'm watching the
Hell yeah.
highlights. I'm enjoying it. Might have to start doing some reactions to it.
If it's getting good, DX reunited behind the scenes. Yeah,
Shawn Michaels is starting to do really good back there now.
Good. And that's good to hear. Like I said, I'm not a fan of NXT, so I have no idea what you're talking about. But again, I hope that it benefits the story going forward and it ends up being a good feud eventually.
So here's the thing. Here's why I wanted to make this a topic. It wasn't because Carmelo and Trick broke up. This, I feel like, has a bigger message that needs to be sent to AEW, that needs to be sent to WWE on their main roster. When you break up tag teams, when you break up
It doesn't have to be
groups,
brutal.
it doesn't have to be an attack. It doesn't have to be something that's so suspenseful, like
doesn't have to-
Danny
yeah.
always wants. Doesn't have to be that way.
Yeah, it could just
This
be blunt.
was a great way to separate both Trick and Mello, because it seems like, they put Trick with Mello to, give him some TV time, let him,
bitch.
pretty much get himself into, NXT, get himself on TV regularly, get over with the crowd. And it seems like he's ready to, spread his wings and fly. So
Hell
I think
yeah,
that
boy.
him, going on his own, as much as I love the pair, they both have tremendous chemistry together. I felt like Carmelo was like Shawn Michaels back in the day and Trick was Diesel. It felt really cool. But I understand, they're in a developmental company right now. They're in NXT, the Stars of Tomorrow, and you have to, expand. You have to do more. And I think that this is a great move. Seeing Trick Williams go on his own, let's see what he can do. I think Carmelo Hayes, he's more than ready to go to the main roster.
Fucking sweet.
Absolutely. But now let's dive into AEW Dynamite 200, because a WWE legend, Hall of Famer actually, ECW legend, Rob Van Dam made his AEW debut. But
I saw that.
according to PW Insider, RVD is only slated for the one match against Jungle Man next Wednesday on Dynamite. WWE is still advertising RVD as a part of their WrestleMania 40 weekend package in Philadelphia. So what's your thoughts on RVD's debut? I'm assuming you definitely watched it.
I did. I saw that. It was weird seeing him do his spin like cartwheel kick in pants. But yeah, I was stoked on it.
I was shocked that he was able to fucking lift his leg up over his head.
He can still go, bro. Just because he's stoned out of his fucking rocker every single fucking moment you see him doesn't mean he can't still go. There's a lot of people that can do a lot more amazing shit high as fuck. Watch. But no, I'm stoked on it. To get a little bit of a pop, a little bit more of like an AEW viewership with a WWE legend, ECW legend. Especially with the stakes I think that's going to be involved in this match with Jungle Man. I think that it's going to be really fun. RVD is one of the best talents out there to do it, but the fact that, he's doing something with AEW right now, and then eventually he's going to be doing WWE shit in Philadelphia for the WrestleMania package, I think that's kind of fucking sweet that he gets to play in both worlds within like less than a year of each other. That's kind of cool.
I love when legends are able to get one-offs like this. I know WWE, they do it sometimes.
Yeah.
AEW is starting to do it, which I do really like. I think that this debut was definitely one of their better debuts. I really did like how they did this.
There was a huge pop.
They had, Jungle Man, Jack Perry out there trying to fight Jerry Lynn because he felt disrespected. So Jerry Lynn comes out, and it made sense because Jerry Lynn and RVD, they had some of the best matches against each other back in ECW. And seeing RVD come out to his old ECW music.
Yeah, Walk by Pantera.
That was friggin' awesome.
Yeah, that was cool as fuck.
And I think that this was a really solid AEW debut for RVD. And I feel like they definitely got some plans here, because after what happened with the segment, there was a backstage interview with Renee and RVD. He issued a challenge to Jungle Man for the FTW championship, and he talked about how he knows how to retire a title. So maybe RVD beats Jungle Man and retires the FTW title, because a lot of people have been complaining about that championship because of it being useless.
Gotcha.
Or you just have Jungle Man beat RVD, who, is an ECW legend. This championship, was around RVD's time. That gets him even more heat. So I think that this is good all around, because older legends in the business, they should be putting over the Stars of Tomorrow. Because in my opinion, with Jungle Boy as a heel right now, I'm not enjoying it. Something is missing, and I feel like it's Anna Jay. They need to get, his girlfriend with him. I think that that'll add more to, his cockiness and just add more arrogance to his character. And just having that presence there could definitely make a difference. I just think RVD, man, great. Loved it. Love Rob Van Dam.
Bet.
But now, diving into a WWE star who's not happy. Recently on Daily Star, Sheamus expressed some frustrations with WWE Creative and stated this: I came out of Clash at the Castle with so much organic momentum, and it was just wasted. It didn't go anywhere.
Rough.
It was a dead end. Just like with WrestleMania. Drew McIntyre went away because of injury, but I was ready to go. And then, just nothing. And this isn't the only WWE superstar that has expressed some frustrations with creative. We've seen Kevin Owens going on podcast, expressing his frustrations. Rhea Ripley liking tweets from other people saying she should be on SummerSlam. Becky and Trish taking disses at WWE right now for not being on the card. What's your thoughts on, Sheamus? Did they make the right call when he didn't beat Gunther for the title?
I mean, if your sole purpose is to have him beat Honky Tonk Man's record, you knew that you weren't going to win the fucking title, bro. Like, if you knew, like, that's if they're specifically aiming to beat Honky Tonk's record, you're not going to win. It's not a part of the plans. Organic heat or organic fucking, radiation, awesome. But at the end of the day, bro, it's your job. I can only feel so bad for someone who was kind of a world champion as it is. So it's like, yeah, Sheamus, whatever, but regardless, there's not really anything exciting, So I get frustrations and wanting to be more, but sometimes you just don't have it,
And that's the thing, like...
Back in the day, yeah.
Wrong.
Now, no.
Sheamus is a future WWE Hall of Famer, without
for sure.
question.
For
he
sure.
has accomplished so much within his career in WWE, but the man is 46 years old right now, and I think WWE, in my opinion, and as crazy as this sounds, they made the right call.
They did.
Sheamus put Gunther over. I understand. He had some organic momentum going on. The crowd was behind him because they wanted him to become that Grand Slam champion. But he's not
eventually.
the right... Because in pro wrestling, timing is everything, and I'm sorry, but the timing, it might have been ready for Sheamus, but Gunther, they have bigger plans for the guy, and I feel like if he lost to Sheamus, he would have gotten lost in the shuffle, I think.
Absolutely.
Timing is everything in pro wrestling, man, and Sheamus, he had his time. He won the WWE Championship within, 3 months of his run?
The World Heavyweight Championship. So
one of the most boring World Heavyweight Championship runs, in my opinion.
That's what I'm saying. So why are you complaining? You already had your flowers. Let somebody fucking else. Like, it's not that big a deal. As long as you're getting paid in decent money and you're having decent matches, what's the issue?
That's what I'm saying, man. I've been going back and forth with this, Sheamus
Twitter
account.
I'm good with it.
Well, I want to share it to the maniacs. Real quick,
I gotcha.
Because this is pretty funny. So when I saw this report, I put it out there. I'm sorry, but WWE made the right call, having Gunther beat Sheamus. Gunther's IC title run now is very prestigious. Sheamus is great, but his last few championship runs were lackluster. And this person has #fella movement as his name on Twitter. And he said this: Sheamus deserves the IC title. I said, not more than Gunther. Then he says, okay, and Gunther had his run. It's beating its conclusion, and Sheamus is the one to beat him for it. And I said, the person that should beat Gunther is a new star because we need to put over new stars. And then he says, so Sheamus, on the best run of his career, doesn't deserve to be rewarded. He's done nothing but put people over for about 7 years now. If he doesn't get the IC title before he retires, that's a massive insult to him and his work. Danny, are you behind this account?
Jesus.
Man, this is absolutely crazy to me. This is nuts. Yeah, if, he didn't want to put people over for 7 years, why did you re-sign with WWE?
That's what I'm saying, man. Makes no sense.
They definitely, I think, made the right call. But guys, before we dive into our main event topic and the comment of the weeks, we'll be right back with more We Are Wrestling 68.
Hey, this is Flip Gordon. You're listening to the We Are Wrestling podcast. Let's flip and go!
Are you looking for wrestling content? Well, We Are Wrestling provides everything pro wrestling. The best one, Donnie, Danny Hawkins, and the Lone Ranger Ben are wrestling marks like you who love this sport. We Are Wrestling has it all when it comes to wrestling content. We have different podcasts, vlogs, reactions, full wrestling matches, live pay-per-view watch-alongs, interviews, predictions, and so much more. Only on We Are Wrestling. What are you waiting for? Subscribe and become a We Are Wrestling maniac now. We're back, and before we get into the main event topic for We Are Wrestling 68, every week on the We Are Wrestling podcast, we do this thing called Comment of the Week. And if you want to get your comment featured on a future episode of the We Are Wrestling podcast, all you have to do is go to the We Are Wrestling YouTube channel, leave any comment on any video for it to be featured. And we got not one, not two, but 3 We Are Wrestling Maniacs comment of the week. So, our first comment of the week is from Kyle Roosh 23. And this was on the reaction video of when CM Punk sprayed the X on the AEW World title. He said this: as long as this leads to another major title, cool. Otherwise, it's just weird.
Yeah. No, I agree. Like I said, I addressed that earlier. You know, I was wondering if it's going to go into another title, and I think it might. So, I don't think it would be for nothing. And if it's for nothing, that is one of the foulest booking decisions of the century.
Yeah, I feel like it only makes sense. Whoever beats CM Punk for the title, they will reveal a new championship, maybe. Unless they're just doing the whole CM Punk versus MJF thing. That's their plan. And to, merge the championships over to have one title. But we're going to have to wait and see what happens, because right now, CM Punk's doing his thing with Ricky Starks on Collision. MJF and Adam Cole are doing their thing, which they're, one of the most hottest acts right now in AEW. But moving on now to our next comment of the week. It is from @Undeniable Marty Sky. And they said this. And this was on, I believe, my reaction to Adam Cole and MJF, as a tag team. They said, imagine wanting Cole plus MJF to beat the greatest tag team of all time on a random Saturday night. Fans are so weird these days.
Yeah, man.
Weird is the word for comment of the
really
week, man.
Yeah, just weird. Like, it is weird, man. Like, that is definitely, like, the one constant when it comes to AEW. It's just how weird their booking can be sometimes. It's just weird. I like the tag team, but weird shit happens.
So do you think that FTR, it was the right call to have them retain the titles over Adam and MJF?
Yeah, I would say so. Like, I would kind of get with it, I guess, because I guess it furthers the story between Adam and MJF because of constant failures, and then that could be like a little hint of like their tag team breaking up and then eventually feuding for the title, and then Adam obviously potentially maybe getting it depending on if they go that CM Punk route. So yeah, I could get it. I can understand.
Yeah, you see, that was my problem. Like, I, of course, wanted MJF and Adam Cole to win the tag titles because of how popular they are with the double clothesline. That crowd, when I was in Hartford, man, we were booing the living shit out of FTR. Everybody in that place wanted MJF and Adam Cole to win the titles. But FTR ended up winning. And honestly, I think it would have been the right move if they furthered the MJF and Adam Cole thing instead of having them hug it out. They should have had, the first plan of twist happen. But they didn't do that. It was just a random, they hugged. And then on Dynamite, MJF cut like a babyface promo and said, I promised you a world title match, Adam Cole, and we're going to be main eventing All In. And Adam Cole signs the contract. They sign the contracts. They hug. And the crowd is cheering, going crazy. So I don't know. I felt like there should have been, a little bit more of a payoff. Unless they're just waiting for All In to make it more unpredictable, we're going to have to wait and see. But I do understand where you're coming from.
For sure.
But our last comment of the week is from @Angelo Rodriguez 1686. And don't worry, this is not an AEW one, Ben. He commented this. If Jimmy turns, what was the point of Jimmy turning on Roman first? It wasn't even Jay. It was Jimmy who pulled the trigger. It would not make sense. However, I can see Jimmy screwing Jay by accident and Jay gets a little mad, saying, you cost me, and that can lead from there. But if Jimmy falls back in line, it absolutely makes no sense.
That's literally the shit I've been talking about and preaching for weeks now. Like, I don't see how Jimmy could fucking cost him, again, unless it was on accident, so he had a very good segue and a very good save, and his angle makes sense, like, that could cause Jay to get really pissed off, and he has no idea what the fuck to do, and he's gonna end up going on his own. I could 100% get behind that. But for him to turn around randomly and just, betray Jay after everything that's fucking futile. Like, it makes no fucking sense at that point. And I've been preaching that for a long fucking time now. It makes no fucking sense. So you could give me whatever bullshit you want to try to convince me, but at the end of the day, what the fuck was the whole point of that climax at fucking Money in the Bank? What was the point, So
well, here's one thing that I do on the podcast and even, outside of the podcast. When I'm wrong, I admit it. I take accountability.
100%.
And I gotta say this. That right there does make more sense than what I predicted going into SummerSlam later on tonight. So I do gotta say this. That is a great prediction. That's a great take. And I definitely could see that happening. I just don't see Jimmy and Jay being together. But that's definitely right there, the comment of the week. But congratulations to all 3 comment of the weeks. If you want to get your comment featured on a future episode of the We Are Wrestling podcast, all you have to do is go to the We Are Wrestling YouTube channel and comment on any video. But with that being said, let's get into the main event topic for We Are Wrestling 68.
Yeah.
And this past Wednesday, during WWE's Q2 filing, federal law enforcement agents executed a search warrant on World Wrestling Entertainment boss, the chairman, Vince McMahon, last month and served him with a federal grand jury something.
Subpoena.
Don't know that word.
A subpoena.
Yeah. The company disclosed Wednesday. The actions represent a ongoing investigation with allegations that McMahon paid millions of dollars over the years to women after being accused of sexual misconduct. WWE also revealed Wednesday that McMahon went on a medical leave after undergoing major spinal surgery. McMahon leaves began July 21st, and he will remain on medical leave until further notice, but will remain executive chairman of WWE. What should WWE do about this? Not the first time with Vince McMahon that we're covering this shit.
I would have
rather had the main event topic be the Elite re-signing, because that's a great thing that happened. But of course, we have to cover toxicity. We have to fucking cover Vincent Kennedy McMahon again.
Yeah, it
does make great
again.
clickbait, though, I guess.
So basically, we're just being reminded just how desperate he was for someone to touch his penis. Like, we're basically just reminded, and now he's got to fucking pay millions of dollars. He paid millions of dollars to shut people the fuck up, and they didn't shut the fuck up, and now he's paying for his fucking decisions, and now a grand jury subpoena. Yeah, he got slapped with some shit, and he had spinal surgery. This is bad. This is really bad, and this is bad for him, I should say, but this is great for us because he's not going to be around to control much. He's going to be too busy healing. So, and dealing with, the absolute butt fucking, which we call the law. So there's some shit that we got
I don't
going
think
down
the
for
law
Vince.
implies to Vince. I feel like he's just gonna get a slap on the wrist for this bullshit.
Again,
It's sad.
and it's a grand jury. A grand jury. That do you understand how serious that is? A grand jury. That's very serious.
Ben, nothing is serious to Vince McMahon. He wrestled
It's
God.
federal.
He wrestled God.
I know he wrestled
Backlash.
God. I know he wrestled God at Backlash. But this is serious shit, dude. And it's a very high level of severity. It's federal grand jury. That is fucking ridiculous. That's some shit presidents get fucking summoned to when they break the fucking law. A federal grand jury. That decides your fucking fate, bro.
Well, maybe Donald Trump and Vince McMahon will be sharing the same cell.
Oh, Donald. That ducktail haircut. It's real good shit.
They're gonna have a hair versus hair match in jail.
Oh, Jesus. They're going to be having more than just hair versus hair matches in jail, bro. Especially if they're bunkies. But I will say 100% this is bad for Vince McMahon. This is very bad. But this is very good for us.
Bad.
This
You know
is
what
good
he
for
should
us,
have done?
though. What?
He should have just retired.
Yeah. But, here he is at almost 80 fucking years old fighting a grand jury while, and mind you, it's the most embarrassing shit. Like, this is over millions of dollars worth of hush money because of a one night, multiple nights that he decided he wanted to get his dick sucked. That is nuts to me. That is nuts to me.
Let's be honest here, Ben. Nothing's more embarrassing than that little Hitler mustache that he's got on his face.
Oh my God, and his bad
Do I
plastic
look
surgery.
beautiful?
And his bad plastic fucking surgery. Yeah. 100%, dude. Yeah, it's just a fucking mess. And then again, him being gone off medical leave. Yeah, dude. Vince
You know what I
Kennedy
don't like
McMahon,
about all
y'all.
this stuff that's coming out?
What?
I'm just going to say this.
What don't you like, Don? Speak to me.
WWE right now is striving. They're doing so well. The numbers, they're, selling out shows. They're, getting their ratings back up on, cable television, which in 2023 is very challenging to do.
Hell
The
fucking yeah.
Bloodline is one of the hottest storylines going on in wrestling right now. And we're getting this negative toxicity news about Vince McMahon yet again. This does not look good at all for his baby that he calls WWE. The best thing that Vince McMahon should do, especially with all these allegations coming out, and especially his health is having issues now as well, he needs to just retire. Collect your flowers. Enjoy retirement. I know it's tough because his whole life he's been doing this, but there's a time and a place you need to step away from it. And Vince McMahon really needs to step away from it because everything that Triple H and Nick Khan are doing, fixing, the house that Vince McMahon built, because that thing's been damaged for a few years. Vince McMahon's coming like the big bad wolf and he's fucking blowing it down.
Yeah, man.
This is not good at all. I really hope that, he really does consider things, and I really hope he really does, step away from WWE at some point.
Yeah, bro.
Because it's time that we move on to the stars of tomorrow. Let Triple H and Nick Khan cook because they did it already. Stephanie McMahon was cooking, but then when Vince McMahon comes back, she wants to retire. She steps down. Man, there's some big issues going on with the McMahons that, I feel like don't know everything going on.
Nor do we need
But
to.
this is really not good news at all. I really hope that, they figure this out because we don't need to go back down with the ratings. We have a really good thing going on in WWE. The Premier Live events are enjoyable. Shows are watchable again.
Yep.
And we can't just go back down to, Vince McMahon's era of WWE. Can't. But at least SummerSlam tonight, he won't be there, so that's a good thing. But is there anything else you want to talk about before we close off this week's episode of the podcast?
No, we wrapped it all up, man. We're good.
I think we did. One of our
Let's
quickest
enjoy
episodes.
SummerSlam now.
That's right. And
enjoy some
usually
SummerSlam,
before
boy.
we go into, these big Premier Live events, we try to keep the podcast, a little bit shorter for you guys because there has been lots of content on the We Are Wrestling YouTube channel this week.
Hell yeah,
and over
dude.
on Spotify and Apple Podcasts as well. But guys, let us know in the comment section below your thoughts on all the things we talked about on this week's episode. If you guys enjoyed, We Are Wrestling 68. Make sure to smash that like button now. If you're a listener of the podcast, don't just give us a 5-star review. Give us a best one review and download the episode. Really helps the podcast grow. But if you're watching this and you're not a We Are Wrestling Maniac yet already, subscribe, turn on the post notifications. And if you've been hiding under a rock this week, we got lots of content for you to catch up on.
Yeah, boy.
We talked about the Cody Rhodes documentary. We have a whole new AEW Dynamite Blood and Guts vlog, and even our SummerSlam predictions, which if you guys want to hear all that, Danny is with us on that.
Yep.
But man, we got SummerSlam later on tonight. We'll be live
Get
on
it.
the We Are Wrestling channel, 7:30 Eastern Standard Time. We hope
Have
to
fun,
see you
y'all.
guys there because we're all going to be in person. And yeah, nobody's going to be 5 seconds behind. Nobody's going to be 5 seconds forward. We're all going to be in the same room at the same time, watching it
Same
together,
damn
having a
time.
blast. The link's down in the description below. You can go follow Ben and I on our social medias and other YouTube pages. But of course, to all the We Are Wrestling Maniacs out there worldwide, we are taking over. Peace.